Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the La Aurora 107 Cosecha 2006 Corona Gorda. The cigar is 6-inch by 47 ring gauge, comes out of the La Aurora factory in the Dominican Republic. The wrapper is Ecuadorian HVA. The binder is from Brazil, and the filler is from the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Brazil. This is blended by Manuel Inoa, and the price point is $10.95. Cigar was released in July of 2016. So with all those details out of the way, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
It was good. I thought the cigar wrapper shade was somewhere between like a Colorado Maduro shade. The wrapper is pretty rough in nature, but it had a good amount of like a slick, oily content to it. Veins roughly pressed, seems tight and visible, and head is finished off with a thick double cap. In terms of the nosing experience, smelling the wrapper, I got fresh cedar, barnyard, and damp earth. Nosing the foot, I got black pepper, cocoa, and sharp cedar. And on the cold draw, I got powdered milk, cocoa, sweet cedar, and a hint of black pepper. So overall, good.
Yeah, wrapper was a medium brown. There was a few visible raised veins. The seams were nearly invisible, and the head appeared to have a double cap on it. There were two bands. The first is the standard 107 band, and below that is a red band with gold lettering and borders that kind of notes the Cosecha 2006 on there. Aroma from the wrapper was pretty sharp. Kind of smelled like cat urine. It's kind of a weird, but it had that. It wasn't ammonia, but it was like it wasn't. It's not a horrible smell, but it was very distinct there. Foot aroma was like a mellow cedar, and the pre-light draw brought like a hay in the forefront, and the background I got like a sweet grape jelly, which was also interesting. So some very unique flavors that I don't typically get from cigars that I got in this one. So that was interesting. So flavor wise, what'd you get from this cigar?
First, there's flavor. First, there's profile. I got cat urine, and just kidding. Okay, for real. So first, there's flavor profile, mixture of milk chocolate, black pepper, fairly sharp cedar. Inchin, I got this really nice underripe stone fruit aspect to it. The retro hailing notes of sharp cedar, strong black pepper, mixed nuts, and underripe stone fruits. Finish, lingering notes of mouth-watering black pepper, wood bitterness, and dry wood. Towards the body and strength, medium. Moving on to the second third. I'd say the primary difference between that first third from the first third is that milk chocolate note moving to the background. So that allowed for like the black pepper cedar, which is no longer sharp at all, and that underripe stone fruit note to develop up front. On a retro, that stone fruit was lost. It mainly left me with sharp cedar, strong black pepper, and cream mixed nuts. Finish unchanged, still providing that mouth-layering black pepper, wood bitterness, and dry wood. Body still at the medium mark, and strength somewhere between medium full. Moving on to the last third. I actually picked up a couple of new dishes from the second third in the form of like a milk coffee and a slightly harsh bitterness. Still, that the profile is still largely centered around black pepper, cedar, and underripe stone fruits. Retro remains unchanged from the second third, still giving me that sharp cedar, strong black pepper, and cream mixed nuts. Finish is now comprised of a wood bitterness and a dry wood. And the body stays medium, and the strength is sort of kind of born in between medium full. What I thought was at a consistent medium full.
Yeah, the initial draws for me brought like a very nuanced mix of black pepper, cedar, and cream. And the quarter inch in, that black pepper went away and that creamy cedar remained. Retro was pretty much just straight cedar. And then an inch in, some black pepper returned into the background while that creamy cedar kind of remained up front. And the cedar on the retrohale gained a little bit of a spice at that point as well. And then an inch and a half in, some breadiness joined in with the creamy cedar and the pepper that was still present in the background there. And as the third was coming to a close, that creamy cedar and the bread continued with a little bit of pepper in the background. And the retrohale transitioned to just a bready note. And the strength, though, it was just right at medium. then getting in the second third, the cedar recedes kind of into the background, leaving that slightly sweet and creamy bread up front. There was still some pepper that was present on a really long finish. And then at 3/4 of an inch in, that sweetness went away, kind of leaving the creamy bread and the cedar that changed to kind of a general woodiness. But it also gained a little bit of a char there. And then 1.25 inches, the char increased on the wood and kind of moved up in the profile while the creamy bread kind of moved into the background. And the retrohale continued with that bready note. And then 1.75 inches, that charred wood calmed way down, and the bread lost the cream and moved up front. And the strength kind of remained at that medium level. And then in the final third, the bread was the primary note in the mouth and also on the retrohale. And then a 1/2 inch in, some woodiness returned to mix in with the bread. And then an inch in, the mix of bread and the wood was creating a really nice and smooth profile. And 1.25 inches, the cigar began to heat up a little bit, and some bitterness was entering in to join up with that bread and the wood. And that's pretty much how the cigar finished out for me. And strength bumped up just a little bit to be slightly above medium. So performance-wise for burn and draw, what was your experience like?
I pegged burn to be good. Smoke production was pretty minimal. Burn light was wavy the whole time. Ashes averaging self-tapped 1.5 inches increments. At times, some minor portion of the wrapper refused to burn, but luckily I never had to relight it or touch it up to any extent. Total smoking time was really good, 2 hours and 45 minutes. In terms of the draw, it was very good. Slightly tight for my liking, but never a big problem. So, overall good burn and very good draw. So good construction.
Yeah, the burn started out wavy and then kind of straightened out in the middle. But the cigar did go out on me once in the final third, and it required a relight. And the ash was holding on in about 1 inch increments. Now the draw, it was really snug for me. I used a draw tool, but that didn't seem to help. But things did ease up in the final third. But I think the draw actually was a detriment to the cigar for me, flavor wise. But overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
I was kind of checking out kind of my flavor profile notes, and I thought that it was a pretty tasty profile. Good complexities, transitions, but I find it to lack in like a depth of flavors. And in general, I mean, I kind of find a lot of because this is more like Dominican heavy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's got a mix of various countries in it, so I don't know
But
how Dominican heavy it
well, let's
is.
say in general, like La Aurora, right? Like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like La Aurora cigars rarely are not good. Like they're most of the time just consistently tasty for me.
Hmm.
But I feel like with most of them, there's a depth of flavors that gets really lost, and it just doesn't hit that mark for me. But even with that said, I still really like the cigar, and I'll gladly smoke more of it. So overall, good cigar.
Yeah, cigar started out with some really nice nuanced flavors and some nice transitions in it. But I can't help but think that the tight draw really kind of choked out the flavors kind of as the cigar went along for me. I'd be very interested in revisiting this again, just to see if a better constructed version of this kind of would let the cigar progress a little bit better. And I think the cigar would actually score much better for me. So I'm definitely going to revisit this because I want to smoke one that has a better draw on it. Because I expect that they're not all going to have this tight draw. I mean, you didn't seem to experience a really tight draw, so I would definitely think that this is a cigar to recommend. I know there's a few other people out there that have done some reviews on this that really enjoyed it. So I just think that draw kind of toned things down for me. So I really enjoyed the first third, and then it kind of just it kind of just fell off from there, and I just think it was all draw related. So score wise, I gave it a 5.47. You gave it a 6.87. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
Match well. I mean, I give it a good for first, second, and last third. Very good, and a good for drawing burn. And overall, it was good. So good profile coupled with very good construction. I should expect that kind of a scoring range.
Yeah, the flavors were there for me. I just think the poor construction on the one I smoked for review. I think that's what kind of nailed this one down. Just a little bit of issues with the burn. Not necessarily the waviness that usually doesn't have an effect on the flavor, but it did go out on me one time, and then it's just a really tight draw. I think it just put a damper on everything. But what I got from the first third before those things really took hold, I was enjoying that. So I'm definitely interested in revisiting. Any other final thoughts from you?
Mm-mm.
All right. If you're just catching this recap on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. And check us out on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. You can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.